Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. I've just reset everything, so I hope we're good to go here. Namaste. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana. I'm an intuitive reader, and today I thought instead of doing a whole bunch of readings, I would work through a rather traditional spread. I have this, so this is inspired by Shannon, who's in the chat. Shannon asked me a question this week about free flow readings versus spreads. And I thought, why not go back to the Celtic Cross and start this discussion there? Tonight in Tarot Foundations, we're going to work with the number 10, work with the energy of the wheel. And this just all kind of seemed to fit together. So for those of you that aren't aware, I do a lot of teaching of tarot as well too, privately through my website. I do this on Zoom. And if you're interested in working with me, perhaps today after we are done here, you would like to go and look at my website. So you can see in the scroll bar below, the next series of Tarot Foundations. It's a long course. It's a 22-week course. It starts in March. There's already people registered for it. So if you're thinking about it, just let me know and I can put you on, I can hold a place for you if you're not able to put the money up front. But it's a real investment into your time and study of tarot, and it's great to connect with people and do practice readings and so forth. And so I encourage you to have a look at that as well too. And then another course that's coming up soon is the one that starts in August. And this looks at the energy, again, of the wheel cycles and timing with tarot and so forth. I also teach Reiki. And so there's a lot of different kinds of classes, workshops that come up in my shop on the website. So go ahead and have a look there after the live stream and see if you would like to connect with me in person. You'll find all the links for private readings there as well too. Okay, so today, as I said, we will not do, I'm not sure if I said this, there won't be a lot of readings today because this is a big spread. And I'm going to start with Janine. I saw she had a question, and I want to thank you for the super chats already. Shannon, you are so generous, and I appreciate your support. Yeah, that's lovely. Yes, I also hope the refrigerator person, repair person doesn't show up during this, so that you can participate, but we have the advantage of playback, right? So welcome. So who else here? Lily Valley, hello, welcome. I'm just looking down. Lydianne. Again, if you want me to know your name and I don't know your name, please tell me and I'll put it in my little book. Hannah, Dancing Soul Sister, welcome. Namaste. Janine, welcome. Donna Thompson, hello, welcome to you. 91 degrees. Oh my goodness, that is steamy, steamy, steamy. Gerald, hello. I'm glad you're here. Julia Wiseman, I'm just looking. I'm not sure. Maybe you were here last week, but it's been a while, so welcome. And who else is here with us? Joel, hello to Joel. And Snow Fox Tarot. Again, I'm looking down. Selena, I gotta remember this. SNS. Welcome to you. Who else is here? I think I've said hello to everyone. Okay, Crystal Sage, hello. Welcome to you as well too. And Jamie's here. Hello to Jamie. Excellent. Hashtag Tarot. Hello. Hashtag Tarot. I don't have your name in my book. If you want me to know your name, let me know and I'll write it in my book. And I apologize if you've already told me. And Anusha, you're very early in the chat, so chances are, yes, you will get a reading. I am going to start with Janine, but first of all, I want to talk about the spread itself. Hello to Diana. So let's just start with this spread. So the Celtic Cross is a 10-card spread, big spread. There are infinite layers of information that you can bring into this spread. And in the center of this spread, one of the things I am not going to talk about today is the significator or any other layers to it. I'm going to keep this just as a 10-card spread. I can do a part 3. So next week I'm going to do a part 2. I can do a part 3 and bring in the significator. That is not something I would do in online readings. If I'm going to choose a significator card, I need to have you here in person because I need more information from you. And yeah, because that can add a whole other dimension. But that's one thing about doing online readings is I can't possibly choose a significator card for you. I suppose you could tell me one, but I want to know more about you, right? I want to share some things, some other possibilities, give you some options for significator cards. I love working with them. But today we're just going to focus on the 10 cards. So in the center of the Celtic cross, there's a mini cross, the first and second card. And this first and second card can represent a myriad of things. We lay down the first card, and this represents some aspect of you, or perhaps the most important part of your question. It's the bulk of the reading. The second card that we lay down either is going to support that, or it's going to show us what's blocking you. You know, what's in your way. So this is also a really good spread to use if you want to figure out why you're not getting where you want to go. Okay, so this, as always in all of my readings, oh, I hope I can leave the blinds like that. Let me know if that blind flickering thing is really annoying, and I'll close the windows. So this is it's a card we need to keep coming back to. The second card, sometimes I like to tuck underneath, you know, because I want to keep coming back to this card. And this mini cross in the center is the bulk of the reading. And sometimes this is all we need, is to draw these 2 cards. All right. Now, in the center of the Celtic cross, the first 6 cards, we build that. And in the thumbnail, I put a Celtic cross. I've never actually seen one in person. I can't wait one day to do a UK tour and take photos of them and do some walks. Maybe do wouldn't that be fun to do a Celtic cross spread at a Celtic cross? That would be crazy. I am using these 2 cards here because one of the layers you can also build into this is to kind of reflect on you as the magician, the energy of the magician within you. This is the first card. Perhaps there is a surgence of energy and inspiration from the magician, and perhaps there is an intuitive, receptive quality to the high priestess in the second card. There's several different layers, several different spreads that I use that build in this association with the major arcana. And also, if you are using any spread and you want to, and it has like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, why not have that underlying layer of magician through Hierophant? Certainly you could do that. Or you can, of course, build in the energy of the aces through the 5s. Now here, where we go from here is a whole other question. Next week, I'm going to show you I'm going to show you the way that I do it. But today I'm going to work with the traditional order and the traditional way to build this spread. And sometimes I do it this way, but I have adapted the Celtic cross to fit my personality, my energy, various different teachings. But in this tradition, the traditional way, is to place the 3rd card underneath. And the 3rd card underneath represents the foundation. And so what is our foundation, right? Our foundation rests in our history. Of course, it's in our past. Hello, Nina. Everybody else that's come in, I'm sorry. Oh, Ginger Faye, hello. And there's an earthiness to the Empress, right? She is grounded in the earth. She is the source of our creation, right? She is the supernal mother. And so down below here is, yes, it's past, it's root, it's foundation, perhaps it's past lives, it's karma, right? And it has a a density to it, right? Then we go 3, we go 4 over here. And in a quick interpretation, this would be the recent past. And one of the things that I learned with this, these 2 cards in relationship, if you can determine how far back this card represents, then this card here will be the same distance in the future if you're working with this as past and present. We can also work with this as left and right. So this is going to be the 6th card, the Lover's card. So you can work with this with feminine energy, receptive energy. Usually we don't think of the Hierophant as receptive, but the red, of course, being fiery. You could also, now, you can also turn this around and look at it from the back, which is another way to interpret this, right? So this would represent the right pillar, and this would represent the left pillar. I mean, there's so many ways you can build this in, and you can decide this for yourself. So then we go, sorry, this is Emperor, my bad. 4, again, masculine energy. 5, so the Hierophant goes up on the top, and I'm not going to adjust the camera. I'm going to scooch the cards down when I do the readings. So here we have above, and so above tends to represent our connection to spirit, higher consciousness. There is a potential energy to this. So also this card can represent the potential outcome. Now, usually the 10th card represents the outcome, but this also can represent the potential outcome. Or I really feel like this is what we need to pay attention to from our guides and so forth. I love this. And also I want to look in relation to like as above, so below. So this is going to represent more like Shakti and Shiva. Again, so many, many, many layers we can build in here. And then I'm going to place the Lover's card over here. So the 6th card. Like I was saying, if you're going to read past, present, future, there's some relationship between how far back this is and how far in the future this is. This is the, again, both of these cards represent outcome, expectations, what is just around the corner. Yes, Diana, what is the difference between the potential outcome and the outcome? And we need to look at if this card, the 5th card and the 10th card, are in conflict or in sync with one another. And perhaps it has to do with we have will, we have free will, we have the possibility to make shifts and adjustments depending on what arises in our life. And so the relationship between the 5th and the 10th card might help to influence those choices. Okay. Good question. Thank you for that. All right. And then we go up the side. And so the Chariot represents, again, self. And so what is the difference between the first card and the 7th card? This pertains more to the question and the issue. And the 7th card tells us, where our self is now, or perhaps how we're viewing ourself, or issues in the self that need to be recognized. And if this is a Court card, that can be a real insight into the aspect of self that we would benefit from focusing on at this time. Okay. And then 7, 8. So the 8th card is another way to look at this too is so this is the internal and this is the external. So the 8th card tends to represent our environment and what is in our environment, our community, our friends, our associates, the people at work, the people that influence us, the environment that influences us. And this can extend into the world as well too. Sometimes we tend to keep this a little too micro, but actually it's the macro that is influencing what's going on. The 9th card, a big sigh here. The 9th card, we want to look at, in yoga, we talk about rag and deshva. Sometimes this is often referred to as hopes and dreams. And when I do, how many of you have done I was going to call it the gypsy spread. That's not the right spread. The Romani spread, So in the Romani spread, there's a whole row that is dedicated to this particular energy. And so we want to look at, there's definitely a relationship between this card, the 9th card, and this card. So if this card is what is supporting or crossing us, these hopes and dreams we can look at in relation to, for sure, this card, the 6th card, the 5th card, and the 10th card. And I want to be really mindful about projecting with this card, because especially if the querent is not in person, because how you interpret that, how I interpret that, if I interpret that, as a hope, you might see that as a fear. Like we need to ask questions about this card. How do you feel about the energy of the 9th card? And how is the 9th card influencing that central card? And then the 10th card is something that's going to move us forward. So what if, instead of using the word outcome, we look at the next turn of the wheel? We look at the next step forward. One of the reasons I think a lot of people abandon this spread is because it feels too predictive. And I don't feel this has to be a predictive reading at all. And I think if you can get away from the predictive energy, then you can get more comfortable with this spread. And so here, the wheel here is represented here. So the wheel is these cards here. And so we have the directions. We have the directions here of north, south, west, and east. And if you have associations with north, south, east, and west because you've done some shamanic work or something, you can also build in the energy of the west here. And so, for example, in the energy of the west, with the kind of training that I have done, I look to your relationship with death. I look to relationship with kind of standing in your power. This is also the archetype of the warrior. And there are, like I said, there's infinite associations you can bring in here. So don't get wrapped up in this spread as a fortune-telling spread. There are so many, many other layers. Okay, I want to go back and and I will start to unpack the layers of this as we go through a few readings here today. Probably 2, maximum 3 readings. So Janine, let us, I'm just going to put this to the side and get out another deck and shuffle over it for Janine. Okay. So Janine, what should we use? I've got a few different decks that are dissected for my class tonight already. Let us go to, I'm going to use Accessory B2, I think. Okay. So focusing on Janine's question, Janine's energy. I'm having problems with my son. Can you provide any helpful advice and see any positive change? So let us hold light and love and support around Janine and her family. Allow me to be a vessel for your wisdom. Allow the cards to support and find clarity for Janine and her son. And allow the wisdom and layers of this spread to reveal what needs to be revealed on this day. As always, we ask that these messages be in the highest for the greatest good and that no harm be done. Okay. So at the center of the cross, we have the Five of Wands. And there can be an exhausting energy to this card. So the Five of Wands also represents a conflict of will. So he wants to do one thing, you want to do another thing. And this feels very connected to your question. And we need to understand that when we have mother-daughter, mother-son, you know, these intimate relationships, there's these challenging relationships are our greatest teachers. And one of the things we can do when we feel provoked and we feel like we're in a challenging situation is to really sit back and to feel this in our bodies. Because if you can do that, you might be able to get to the crux of this. Okay? So he is there to teach you something just as much as you are there to teach him something. And so to provide the insight and the space for that, I'm hoping that we can get to part of that today. So what is exacerbating this Five of Wands? Or what could help to ease it? So we have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups, which is kind of a beautiful card to show up here. And this card tells me that he is sensitive and you are sensitive. And this sensitivity is only going to help with the situation. I'm just going to open up the chat in another window so I don't have to scroll here. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Sorry, just give me 1 second here while I open up a new window. And I can see you chatting. As always, please know that I really welcome. I'm going to focus on the reading and then I will go to your questions after. But feel free to support Janine throughout this reading, adding any insights that you have as well too. Okay. There we go. Okay. And do that. That should be good. All right. Knight of Cups energy. The Knight, the positive aspect of the Knight of Cups energy is that he wants to feel. He wants to feel. And notice also that we have a lovely balance here between fire and water. We have a very active fire card. We can also see the fives as a transition. And the beautiful thing about a five showing up here in the center is that it gives me hope. It gives me hope that you two indeed are moving through something. And what you're moving through is going to take you to this beautiful new level. So lean into the emotions, feel the emotions, encourage him to express his emotions. And you also want to give space to each other because the fives can feel really volatile at times. And we want to temper this fire with things, it sounds really silly, things that make us feel cooler underneath. So what is at the foundation? What is at the foundation of this is the Two of Wands. And I really kind of like that this card showed up here. This looks so much like the wheel. And if we look at the energy of this Two of Wands, we have the directions that are represented. And it's just really auspicious that this is here. And it shows me that in this wheel spread, and this Celtic cross spread, which is based on a wheel, we have the foundation of awareness of change. Awareness of change. The Two of Wands is balanced. It's also connected to the suit of fire, of course, right? So we have a fire card and a fire card. There's a wanting, there's a need to move forward. And this tells me that your son wants to move forward as much as you want to move forward. And sometimes that Knight of Cups energy gets lost in the subconscious stuff. And there may be, I don't know how old your son is, so I don't want to say anything that is not suitable. So if there's anything else you want to share, let me know. Okay, so what is behind over here? So here you are, Janine. You know, we have the Empress energy that is, this is actually really beautiful. You know, it shows your connection, your care, your comfort. The Empress is participating and looking into this and active in resolving this. And I love this interconnection between these two cards. There's infinite potential for working through this. And I really feel like and we also, you know, in this Two of Wands, I love how the wands are woven together here, you know, to look like the caduceus, the connection. This feels very founded in faith, founded in faith. And so don't lose that hope. Don't lose that trust that you two are working through something very, very important. Very, very important. He's 16 this September. Okay. So does he, you know, what I was going to say is that, no, I'm not going to say, we'll just keep this. Okay. So on the top overhead is this beautiful Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles is the potential outcome. It's also a feeling from on high. And look at this gorgeous Page of Pentacles with this, the precision of the origami, the fact that the paper swan is overhead. And for those of you that have connections with Japan and paper cranes, you know that they're connected to spirit. If you know, like how chains of paper cranes are connected to ceremonies, and they're put around monuments, and it's a beautiful, uplifting, spiritual connection. It also has the potential outcome of him carrying on for higher learning. And it's a really uplifting card, you know, just for that to be sitting up here, either, you know, connected to the Hierophant, to higher consciousness, potential outcome, and so forth. Okay, so mom has always been here, right? Mother has always been here. This also represents a supernal mother. So the goddess energy is within you, and you can also lean into her to help move through this situation. So she was always there. So what that means for me is that this energy was always there as well too. Okay, so we have 2 fire, 1 water, 2 pentacles. We have another earth card here. So far what's missing is swords. Okay, which is actually kind of a good thing in a way. I like that because this feels grounded, and the more grounded cards we have in this reading, the one of the foundations of wellness is grounding. And so it's really beautiful that we have such an earthy reading here. Okay. Nine of Pentacles. Look which way she's facing. She's looking ahead. She's interested in moving forward. You know, in this deck, there's a real sense of connection with nature. The bird, I don't believe, is not hooded in this deck, which I love. There is, you know, the Nine of Pentacles to me is about so much comfort. It's about comfort with who you are. And sometimes in the Nine of Pentacles, in a more traditional deck, or I'm thinking like the Slow Tarot, I can't stand the Nine of Pentacles in that deck. There's a ostentatiousness. There's a show-offness of your stuff. And in this deck, I don't feel that way. I feel like the comfort is a connection with Earth, a connection with Shakti, if you will. So it's really beautiful. Okay, so as a medicine wheel, you want to lean into that earthy nature to balance the conflict, and perhaps to balance also the emotions when they get out of hand, because sometimes the Knight of Pentacles can be overly emotional. And he's only 15 years old. So he's just a rookie, right? He doesn't know how to express his emotions. Learning to communicate and to share all of that, that's something that is a lifelong journey. So as the Empress, part of your role is to model and to step by step to teach him how to do that. Okay, so this is you, Janine. Three of Cups. So this is a want. This is a yearning for connection, right? It's a yearning for connection. You want to feel as well too. He wants to feel. You want to feel. So feel. It's kind of beautiful. I love that we have a Trinity here. And remember, this is that underlying energy of the Chariot. This is what's moving us forward. This is what's driving the road that's going up the side, and in an actual cross, which is, you know, going through the middle of the whole thing. So what's moving you forward is this trust and connection. And so this connection may need to be built through supporting your connection with others as well too. Remember, we can mirror what you want with your son with others. So the more that you connect with your sisters, your friends, the more that you connect with your circles, or, you know, your book club, or whatever it is you do, your gardening circle, the ladies that you go out for coffee, or the guys, or whomever, right? The modeling healthy relationships. That's what I feel here. The modeling of healthy relationships is what you want, right? So that's what you show. That's what you exhibit. Okay. The community also lives in hope and optimism. Your environment is one of unlimited potential. So this feels like a very macro card to me. So do not feel like this is not a card of being confined or restricted in any way. This is a card of expansiveness. This is the card that comes after the Tower. So it feels like, to me, this is already starting to shift. The wheel is already starting to turn. Gingerface says, in my quest for trying new spreads, the Celtic Cross is definitely a classic to revisit often for truthful inner insight. Yeah, beautifully, beautifully expressed. And Shannon says, I feel like I can get so many layers from the cross. Yes. Donna supports. This is a very beautiful, earthy reading so far. Okay, I'm sure Gingerface already left. Okay, so now we want to look at any fears that are arising or hopes that are arising. Okay, so again, so let's look at how many major cards we have. We have the Empress, right? We have the Empress and the Star, and we have the Lover's card. So the Lover's card is in the 9th position. And again, we have a card of connection. We have a card of connection. So this is not only connection with your son, this is about balanced and true connection with yourself. And so anything that supports connection, modeling connection, this can be connecting with your pets, connecting with animals. It's about seeing yourself in others, right? Finding that divine, balancing those divine qualities of fire and water within yourselves. And I love that. That's where we started, was with this balance of water and this very passionate card, the 5 of Wands. Also, the fact that we start with a minor arcana and a card of transition feels to me like this will blow over much sooner than you expect. And we want to compare now the Page of Pentacles to the outcome card, which is it's a 7 of Pentacles, right? And what does the 7 of Pentacles teach us? It teaches us that the journey is the most important thing, right? The journey, the being in the experience, being in the moment. So part of that might be to teach your son about being present by modeling yourself being present, not worrying about the future. It doesn't matter about tomorrow or September or what's happening. What matters is right now and learning how to be right now and be present. Yeah, and I love Helen's comment. This reading feels full of hope, love, and light to you and your son. Yeah, it's really beautiful, Janine. So take a screenshot, and what I'm going to do is just do that. So you can take a screenshot, and I'm sure you have this deck. So you can lay out the cards on your table and do a little bit of reflection. Mm-hmm. Okay, so thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I know that's very personal. I'm just going to mark the reading here, and then I'm going to go down and see where the next question is. And I might not choose the next question. I'm just going to kind of scan through here. Oh, Lily Valley, that's a very high compliment. I hope I can live up to that one. So Lydiane is starting your next work or new work. I hope, Hannah, this gives you a little bit of inspiration. The Tarot Foundations course is private. Yes, the Tarot Foundations course is taught on a private Zoom, and the maximum number of enrollees is 11. Yes, 11 people. So that's the information for that one. Okay. Crystal Sage, Anusha. Okay, so yes, Anusha is next. Let's go to Anusha's reading. All right. I think I will stick with Sasrai Budo. It's really a beautiful. I call it my swords deck. it's one of my swords decks. I find it has tremendous insight, truth, and I've worked with it regularly since Stacey, I released this deck. I feel, yeah, so it's definitely one of my main tarot decks. Okay, so Anusha is relationship reading. Okay. You're very welcome, Janine. Okay. So let's hold space around Anusha. Love, light with Ramachandran. Oh, Lydiane, I hope you enjoy Tarot of the Abyss. It's a beautiful, beautiful deck. Okay, will things move towards marriage for Anusha and Ramachandran? So, as I'm shuffling, I'm just opening up the gates, talking to my guides, asking that this spread supports and reveals exactly what Anusha needs to hear today. And myself stepping out of the way. Okay. Justice. Okay. And is this an 11 or an 8? It's an 11. Okay. So the first card off the bat, I definitely cannot answer the question. But what I can say here is that something is being brought back into balance. Justice, the Justice card is a karmic card. It's a card of righting past wrongs. It's a card of clearing samskaras. It could also refer to the legal aspect of the marriage relationship. So let's see what is crossing justice, the Four of Swords. So we have, so this is the card of Libra, air, and then we have another airy card. We have a card of foundation. This is very much a card of peace, you know. So these first two cards to me really speak to not getting too flustered about this. They encourage me to step back a little bit and to be patient with this process, to work on your own inward journey. You know, and I'm not sure that I've ever noticed this before. Do you notice how his belly is kind of pink, right? The face is blue connecting to the moon. I mean, other things as well too, and then this is pink and red. There's a real sense of balance, inner balance here. So I feel like perhaps, Anusha, this is a time for you to kind of step back and just a little bit of self-care, doing some inner work. But let's go on and see. The King of Cups is the foundation of this, which is actually a beautiful card to have below. I love it, the King of Cups in this deck. And perhaps this tells me that you grew up with, or your foundation, your family is one of love and support. The King of Cups is a lovely, supernal, fatherly energy that isn't afraid to talk about emotions, that isn't afraid to be with feelings or challenging situations. So that's a very beautiful card to have there. So we have Five of Wands. But yeah, let's also pay attention to repeating cards that are coming up in both of these readings, because sometimes that can shed insight. So with this card in this position, it would feel like issues of conflict, challenges perhaps are behind you. And we'll see what comes up over here. But there may still be very much an energy of, and I kind of like this card I like it when fiery cards show up in a relationship, because we want a balance of fire and water, right? We don't want to lose that steaminess. You know, there can also be a playfulness to this Five of Wands. So let's not lose sight of that and not always see the Five of Wands as like an omen. Okay, we have another repeating card. Okay, so when I do these readings live and we have cards that show up again, these tend to be cards that are going to speak to everybody in the chat or people watching the playback. So this is a beautiful card of potential. It shows the possibility, the circle of life, the circle of change, moving forward. Perhaps you will, interesting. I'm feeling like you two will be able to do this differently. Like you won't be stuck in a traditional pattern. You'll be able to make this marriage or this relationship something that feels more authentic to the two of you. So so far we have 2 fire, 1 air, and 1 cups. And then over here we have the Queen of Swords. So do we have pentacles? No, we don't have pentacles yet. Okay, so the Queen of Swords is looking in. The Queen of Swords sees the truth. Interesting that the Queen of Swords understands what this justice is about. And I love the meditative quality of this Four of Swords and the Queen of Swords. All right, so my question for Anusha is moving into this relationship, knowing your truth, knowing what it is you want in this relationship, to get really clear about that, to share that with Ramachandran, and to not go into this relationship being anything less than who you are. With the Justice card sitting at the center here, you want to take full advantage of this opportunity to find a new balance and harmony within yourself. And I really love that the Two of Wands is sitting overhead. Okay. All right, let's go on. So it's kind of cool, right? We have the Chariot in the Chariot position. And the Chariot is one of moving forward, moving ahead. So that feels very auspicious. But remember, this is you. This is you wanting to race ahead. This is you in the place of trust, actually. It's wanting to burst forth. And, you know, I really, with the energy of the Chariot, I feel that you can lead this relationship in any direction you want. You know, like you have more strength and power than you realize. Okay. So this is your environment. Your environment is the 8 of Cups. This is interesting. I'm wondering, I want to put this rose quartz over here. Let's bring this rose quartz into the reading. Is there, Anusha, an aspect of the past that your community has been asking you to let go of? Is there an old relationship? Is there an aspect of grief or something that you haven't released? Because it feels like there's something in your environment that others have been asking you to let go of. Perhaps there's an old emotional pattern. And I'm wondering also too, if your friends or somebody in your family doesn't support this relationship. And that makes that very, very challenging because you want to dive into this relationship, but perhaps your community doesn't support this relationship. And your community could be a group of friends. It could be certain aspects of your family. So that makes that really challenging. And I definitely feel for you there. Hopes and fears. 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords. So not a great card to show up here, but I have a couple of things I can share with you. So one is, again, I want to go back to this aspect of truth. Truth. So why are you entering into this relationship? If it's an arranged marriage or this is a love marriage, really go to the, sit with your heart and ask yourself why you are entering into this relationship. Are you entering into the relationship for the right reasons? Do you have any fear about entering into this relationship? Is Ramachandran a man of integrity? And remember that this is a fear. What could possibly be the hope of this? The hope that you can remain strong, the hope that you don't lose yourself in this relationship. There's a lot of swords here, a lot of swords. Okay, and then let's look at the 2 of Wands in relationship. We have the same outcome card. The same outcome card. So the thing I feel about this card here is one that this relationship is worthy of endurance. This relationship, let's look at these 2 cards together. This relationship is worthy of exploring, of very much enjoying the day-to-day interactions with each other. This looks very much like the Lover's card in this deck, the way that these 2 are interwoven here. The Wands, of course, speak to the 2 of Wands is like your 2 passions interacting with each other and being able to navigate the wheel, being able to navigate the change and being comfortable with change and comfortable with the cycle of life. And to really enjoy the journey. So I don't know, Janine, I feel like, sorry, not Janine, Anusha, I feel like there is, there's a reason the 2 of you are together for sure. And this journey might not be an ideal, what do I want to say? I feel like there's greater reasons for the 2 of you being together. Anusha says, recently my ex came up after 4 years to apologize. He is married now, recently trying to forgive him. Okay, so this card, that makes so much sense, Anusha. So this fear is fear that Ramachandran will act perhaps in the same way that your ex did. So the release, if you can, you want to release that before you carry on. In order for the relationship with Ramachandran to be wholesome, that fear needs to be released. Otherwise, you'll be attracting that fear into the next relationship. So I'm really glad that you put that into the comments. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like I said, this spread is an incredibly powerful and beautiful way to dive into many, many layers. And I can talk about a Celtic cross for probably, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I'm going to carry on with this next week. So what I want to do is I'm just going to kind of blast through the other questions and do 1 or 2 cards for each of you that have asked a question. And I have about 10 minutes or so that I can give to that. And then next week, I'm going to come back and add some more layers to the Celtic cross and show you another way that I have been working with this. Okay. All right. So let's go to Helen. And what's next for me in love and who is coming in? Okay. So why don't we just do the very center of the Celtic cross? So the energy around Helen and what's blocking Helen or energizing Helen in potential relationship. Okay. So one of the things, Helen, and anybody who's asking a relationship question, is we really be really mindful of, you know, what I was just saying to Anusha is that the letting go part is as important, is so important so that we have space for the next relationship. So forgiveness, release, letting go is a huge part of that. And there's some holding light and love around Helen as we provide insight into her question. And as always, if these readings resonate with you and you would like to leave a donation and you're not able to do that through Super Chat, there are links in the description box below for other ways to make donations. Okay, Helen. Okay, so very much in your head about this question, right? Disconnection from heart. And so what I feel, I mean, let's look at what's crossing this. We have this card again. This card has been coming up a lot today. Okay. So Helen, anything is possible. The wheel wants to turn. The energy is definitely with you for moving into a relationship. 2 of Wands. Look how those 2 of Wands are intersecting with each other. Look how that wheel, in the background, we see the energy of that wheel. It's time to move forward. But in order for that to happen, you need to get out of your head. And how do you do that? You do that by grounding. You do that by, you know, you take all your plants and you change the soil, you get out in the garden, you get out into nature, you walk, you connect, you swim, you get healthy, you get really, really healthy so that you sleep better, so that anxiety is reduced. So this is a card that is saying, yeah, for sure you can move forward in relationship, but right now, your wellness, your grounding is what needs attention at this time. Okay. Oh, great. Hashtag tarot. I'm going to write that down. My name is Claire. Yay. Now you're in my book. Okay. Okay. All right. And you know, you all saw me the way I put the cards in and shuffle them. Oh, the camera is frozen. That one is frozen. So I'm just going to hold up the cards. It looks like the second camera is frozen. So I'm just going to hold it. So we're going to go to Lydia Ann's question, which is global question for us. What issue for a problem we feel in our lives? Okay. Oh, it looks like it's caught up. Okay. So this is for everybody. And this is going to be the last reading for today. I do have I'm going to a party after this. I've got 5 ladies that I'm doing readings for. And I have to drive to get there. So this reading for the collective is for all of you. And I will be back next week. Same time, same place. Okay. All right, so Lydia was asking about the issue, an important issue for all of us. And then we'll see what is supporting or blocking that issue. Okay. Empress. Empress. So what does that mean to you? Well, one thing, it's about connecting to, let's go really basic. What about connecting to our mothers? Connecting to our mothers. And if there's no mother, you know, we have aunties, we have surrogate mothers, we have role models. And this doesn't necessarily have to be females. This is those souls who possess the qualities of the Empress. So spending time with those people, right? And in extension, of course, we can connect to, yes, another repeating card for today. So in an extension, this was in Janine's reading, right? This is an energy that has always been with us. It was in the recent past position. So in extension, we can connect with the Earth Mother and to be with the Earth Mother. And so the issue, the message here is to be with Mother, whatever that represents for you, right? And it might, you know, maybe it means, we were talking about forgiveness earlier. Maybe there's some reason you need to reconnect with your mother. And if that's not possible, maybe this means, I was talking with somebody earlier this week about setting up an altar in the forest or in a park. You know, just go back a little further back where people don't go, and set up something little and just be with nature. Yeah, and Hannah says the feminine has to be honored. And sometimes I feel like, you know, a lot of people I know, they wear so much black, like they're hiding. Like they don't want to allow their creativity and their femininity to be exposed. And look at all the pink in this card. Isn't that funny? Sadhana's wearing pink today. That is, oh my God, that is funny, haha. Okay, so that's the message. All right, so the Page of Wands would suggest that we be really playful with this. Yeah, okay, here's a random message. Like I was thinking like bright colored lipstick. You guys probably don't want to wear bright colored lipstick. What about being a little more saucy, you know, a little more spontaneous, really doing what you want to do, you know, acting a little, you know, being a little risky, being a little provocative, being poking, inspiring others to step out of their comfort zone. Yeah, and both of these feminine qualities are, yeah, very admirable. I like the way that Stacia drew the crown in this one. You know, this is this celestial energy. It almost looks like a Saturn ring around her head. There's such a spiritual quality to the Empress. We tend to look at the High Priestess as the spiritual feminine archetype, but the Empress is Shakti. And I like that saucy energy of that Page of Wands. So allow yourself, you know, allow yourself this week to be a little more playful, a little more spunky, right? Don't be afraid of what people are thinking. Just listen to that inner feistiness and go for it and stay connected, you know, be real and flow. One of the, like the Empress, of course, is connected to the earth energy, but there is also that she is the connected to the divine feminine. So there's that watery quality as well too. So all of those elements are represented here. So get out of the head, be connected with the earth, be connected with your body, move your body. So the Page of Wands would want to move her body. Okay, so thank you, Lydia, and thank you for that question. I will be signing off now, and I want to wish you all lots of love and light. Have fun with this reflection, and I'll see some of you very soon. Namaste.